we had this other promo segment on the night, and you would think both people were good on the mic, and that's Britt Baker and Saraya. So Saraya, it's her first promo back from wrestling after, 5-6 years since she was forced into retirement from her neck injury. She might have been a little rusty. I'll give her that. This was just an awkward promo segment. She comes out. She's talking about how she's the revolution, has everybody come out in the women's locker room. And by everybody, I really mean 5 babyface women. And maybe 2 of them have been on TV in the last month. And the AEW interim champion, Toni Storm and Athena. Madison Rayne, I guess, she's a notable name. And then you have Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale trying to, pump them all up. But she just goes straight to Toni Storm is the best AEW women's champion we've ever had. Not even letting Toni Storm talk. But before anybody else gets introduced or whatever, Britt Baker comes out with Jamie Hayter, Rebel, and Penelope Ford, which that was just random, throwing her in there. It's
one of those wrestling things the heels hang out with the heels and the faces hang. It's right. Come on.
Saraya is trading blows with Britt Baker. Britt Baker has a line where she says that she puts her blood, sweat, and tears in the women's division. She puts her neck on the line. The difference between me and you is that my neck is strong and yours isn't. And Saraya had nothing to retaliate this except, your name rhymes with shit. That's the best you could come up with? I mean, yes, I understand you're under the gun. This is the first time in you're on the mic in years in front of people in a ring, but it reminds me of that scene in your movie, Saraya, where you were getting heckled by fans and didn't know what to say.
And I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but isn't there some low-hanging fruit that she could have touched on? Isn't there a certain somebody that, I guess it depends what rumors you believe, but isn't there a certain somebody that Britt Baker, as far as I know, is still dating that's out on injury, that she could have clearly just said, you're talking about me and my neck, but it seems to be your man is the one who can't quite keep up, whatever, something along those lines.
Not only that, she's out there with a freaking bandage on her nose because she busted her nose for a second time. Could have gone after that. Could have gone after the fact that people are chanting Jamie Hayter and not Britt Baker or Saraya, because they're talking about relevancy. Yeah, you think you're the one that leads this division? Why are they chanting for your lackey and it's not you?
The fact that she hogs the spotlight. And the fact that, she's there supposed to be the revolution, which this whole thing was just weird, man. The whole segment, the whole layout of it, because she's out there talking about how she's going to be the revolution and all this stuff. And then she calls out the champion. Well, if you're the revolution, what are people supposed to think about the champion? You're essentially saying, I'm above her. I'm here to save this company. And I get it. That's typically what somebody that debuts, that's typically something they'll touch on. I'm not even saying I disagree. I just thought the whole layout of it was all kind of out of whack. She wasn't uncomfortable. I've definitely seen Paige in WWE cut much better promos and be much more confident and stuff like that. Britt Baker was fine. She was always very good. But just, it was... and the fans didn't even pop. When they were, by the way, it's going to be a lumberjack match. And they were just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. Cool. And of course, she does her WWE dig there where, hey, at least I have a boss now that will listen to me. I mean, cool.
Yeah, have
to throw that in there, which is fine, because I'm sure Vince McMahon never listened to Saraya or Paige or whatever you want to call her now. But I have to ask, just like I asked in our last segment, who won the war of words? Britt Baker or Saraya?
Britt Baker by default. I mean... And again, I like Saraya a lot. I'm a huge fan of hers. But this definitely wasn't the best. Right. It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be, but it wasn't good. And it wasn't just the content the whole segment was just poo.
It was awkward. That's what it comes down to. It was just very, very awkward. And
segment rhymed with Brit.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why sometimes scripts work in wrestling. But